All right, so in today's video, I'm going to talk about the dark side of getting lean, right? So in a lot of my videos, if you've watched them, if you haven't, I talk a lot about the positives, a lot about the upsides to getting lean and building your physique. But at the end of the day, with every good thing comes bad things as well, right? And they might not be bad. You can look at them as negatives. You can look at them as bad. I personally don't think these things are bad. I just think they kind of, there's the negatives that come with the positives, right? And this might affect you negatively, or this might just make you neutral. Like, to me, this stuff is kind of neutral. I just kind of accepted the fact that it's going to come with the lifestyle that I live, being lean, right? So first things first, you get treated differently, right? So we all know that when you get lean, or the people who live in reality know that when you get lean, you get treated with respect, right? People respect you more. People will come up to you, ask you more questions. People will ask you for advice. People will give you more opportunities. They will be more willing to talk to you. They'll come around, like they'll be in your vicinity more often. Like, especially at the gym, I noticed that women, especially, they'll kind of like hover around you at the gym. Like, I remember there's been a few times where there might be a woman in there hitting a certain body part, right? And then I go do something that I'm hitting, like, let's just say she's hitting back and I'm hitting chest. She'll come over to me, to one of the chest machines, and start hitting chest, even though she was just hitting back, right? And then there's other instances too where they'll just get close to you. They'll do their exercise right in front of you, shit like that, just to kind of test you and see if you'll look. I kind of just stay laser focused, so I don't really pay attention to that. But that's the positive, right? If you want to call it a positive. The negative is that people will assume certain things about you, like you're vain, you're one-dimensional, you don't have a personality, you live in the gym, all you care about is the gym, right? Like, a lot of people will assume that about you. A lot of people, like, even without meeting you, without talking to you, they'll kind of just assume that you're just a gym bro and you don't know anything besides nutrition or eating clean and being boring and all that shit. They just assume that about you, when in reality, it's like that's not even you, right? Like, I've gotten rejected by plenty of women because they thought that, my lifestyle was too strict, or I'm too vain, or I care too much about appearance and shit like that, which is fine, right? I'm not tripping about it. It is what it is. But that is something that people will assume about you, right? Like, even dudes will assume that you're an asshole, that you're a dickhead, or that you're mean, or you're stuck up and arrogant, when in reality, like, at least in my experience too, the leanest guys at the gym are usually the nicest guys at the gym. Like, they're the chillest dudes at the gym because they're just on their shit. Like, especially me, if you come talk to me in the gym, I'm super chill, bro. Like, I just say, what's up? I'll have a little conversation with you if you want to have a conversation. Like, I try to keep it to a minimum because at the end of the day, I'm there to work out. But I will have a conversation, I'll give advice, whatever it is, right? Like, I've had younger kids stop me. I've had older guys stop me. Even at the gym I go to now, like, there's people I see there all the time, and we always say what's up and shit because we know each other at this point. But there's a lot of people that will assume that, you're not friendly, or you're not approachable, right? And that's kind of a fair assessment to make, I guess, from the outside looking in, because from the outside looking in, somebody who doesn't know too much, or somebody who doesn't really understand the lifestyle, might just assume that all you do is literally work out and eat all day. Like, that's what some people might assume that you do, right? Like, they just think you live in the gym, right? Like, you might even see comments or other people saying in other videos, oh, like, we don't have time in the gym. Like, some of us don't have the time to live in the gym. When in reality, it's like, bro, I only spend 5 hours, 6 hours in the gym weekly, right? That's not every day. I don't spend 2 hours in the gym every day. That's not what lean people do. Lean people are in and out 45 minutes, 1 hour, because they're intentional about what they're doing. Like, they're in there, they know what they're doing, they do it, and they get the fuck out, right? They're not just in there like most people are, just kind of walking around, trying to figure out what to do. Maybe they'll do some cardio for like an hour or two and then leave and then talk to some people, right? It's not what, like, the people who are in the best shape, they're in and out, right? So people just assume certain things about you that are not true. They assume that you don't have any hobbies or any personality or anything like that, which is funny. But I mean, There are some dudes who do hit the gym that really don't have anything else besides the gym, but a lot of people think that's just like a blanket statement that applies to everybody, which, couldn't be further from the truth. Like, most people who are in lean and in great shape have personalities, right? Like, they've done cool shit. At least the people I know that are in great shape, they all have done cool shit. I've done some cool shit. I was in the military, lived in a different country, shit like that. I've just done a bunch of stuff. I've done a bodybuilding competition. I like to DJ. I like music. I play video games, right? Like, some people might say video games is gay or whatever, but like, I really don't care. And I like other shit. I like Marvel. I like Spider-Man. I like Batman. I like Daredevil. Like, if you're watching a new Daredevil right now, that shit's fire. That shit's so good. But like, the assumption is that we don't have personalities, which couldn't be further from the truth. And then we'll talk about dating dynamics too, right? Like, the dating dynamics kind of change a little bit for you. And if you've never experienced this, you might not believe what I'm saying. But when you get lean and when you get in shape, there are women who will literally just use you for your body. They will use you to sleep with, and then they'll discard you, right? Like, I've had that happen to me multiple times where I spend the night with the girl, sleep with a girl, and ghosted the next day. Like, nothing ever happened, even though the conversations went great, even though, the time we spent together was fun and we had a good time. It's like ghosts. And you realize that, some women just want to use you for your body, right? Like, there's this idea that that's only a man thing, right? Like, only men want to use women for their body. But when you get on the other side of body game, when you get lean, you start to see that that's really not true, right? Like, there's a lot of women out there who will say crazy things to you and will literally, they'll overly go for you because of your physique and how you present yourself, right? Like, and they have no shame, which is fine, right? Like, if that's what they want to do, that's cool. But like, I don't like the fact that we live in a world where people, and when I say people, I mean women try to just make a blanket statement that only men use the opposite sex for their body, when in reality, plenty of women do the same shit when you're a guy who's in shape and you're attractive. Like, and if you've never experienced that, you might think I'm lying. But even if I told this to myself when I was 15, 14 years old, 16 years old, I would have thought I was lying, because back then I barely got any attention. I was always friend zoned. I was always the shoulder to cry on. I was never the guy that was anybody's first choice. And then now like, a girl will ask me for my number. I'll give her my number. I'm thinking like, oh shit, like, well, let's see where this goes. Maybe it turns into something, maybe it doesn't, right? Just kind of going into it pretty normally, pretty casually. And then, I'll sleep with them. And this was back then, by the way. This isn't like, I don't really do this often now, barely actually. Like, I just don't want to waste my time doing that, because it is a waste of time. But back then, like, especially when I was in Hawaii. When I was in Hawaii, the amount of times I got used just for my body and nothing else, it's really eye-opening, because when you don't experience that, you really do believe that it's just dudes that do it. And then when you realize that women do it too, you're just like, oh, like, oh, okay, well, I mean, shit, right? Like, you think it's one-sided the whole time, and then your eyes get open, and you're like, oh, okay. So that's another downside, I guess, especially if you're a guy who actually likes genuine relationships. Like, if you're watching this and you want to get lean and shit, and you want to change your body and change your physique, and you also appreciate genuine human connection with women, like genuine relationships, or even if you're a woman watching this and you appreciate genuine relationships with men. But honestly, this is more of an eye-opener for the men instead of the women, so we'll keep it on men. But if you're somebody who appreciates genuine connections and relationships with women, and you want to get lean, once you become attractive, you have to be very careful not to get your expectations too high, because a lot of the times you will literally just get used for your body. And it's not a great feeling, right? Like, in the moment, you're probably like, oh yeah. But then when you realize, like, oh shit, that's what happened, I was just nothing but a piece of meat. Shit, roles reversed, right? People project their insecurities onto you. right? Like a lot of people will say, oh, that's too extreme or that's unsustainable. Being at a low body fat percentage is unsustainable, or weighing out your food is too extreme. When in reality, it's really not that extreme. Like weighing your food it probably adds an additional 2 to 3 minutes a day, like during your meal prep time. Like it's really not that extreme. It really doesn't take that much effort to grab a food scale and weigh out your food. Like that is the lowest effort thing you can do in terms of the getting lean. Like the working out is harder, getting the right amount of sleep is harder, recovering properly is harder. Weighing your food is like the easiest thing out of all that shit. It's just most people don't want to do it because they don't want to have to hold themselves accountable, and they don't want to have to actually like have their mind open on what they're actually doing, right? Like they rather just live in ignorance and pretend like, oh, I'm just fat, I'm just out of shape because, I don't know why. Like I'm trying to eat clean, I'm trying to eat good. Like they rather live in that delusion than actually pull out a food scale and have to hold themselves to a higher standard. So a lot of people will project their insecurities onto you and say, oh, you're being too extreme, or it's unsustainable. 1 second. They'll say it's unsustainable, when in reality, it's pretty sustainable long term, right? Like it's just about priorities. It's just about your standards for your life. Like, of course, some days I would love to eat some junk food or some shit like that. But at the end of the day, it's like, you think about it for a second, it's kind of just a fleeting thought. Like it comes in and out. And at the end of the day, that the best thing to do is to eat the chicken, eat the beef, eat the potatoes, eat the rice. And it doesn't have to be like, I think also one of the things that people think is like, oh, food, your food tastes bland or it's boring. It's like, you can make your food taste good. You can eat, right? You can make good rice and chicken with some veggies and some fruits, and it tastes amazing. Like everything, I don't eat anything that tastes bland or bad. I don't. Like maybe the eggs, because it's eggs, right? But for the most part, I don't eat anything that tastes bland or boring. Like all my food tastes good to me, at least, right? So I enjoy it. So a lot of people think it's unsustainable because you have to eat stuff that doesn't taste good, when that's not true at all. You just have to make sure that the portions are right. You have to make sure that the ingredients, are good ingredients or healthy ingredients, clean ingredients, and it's perfectly sustainable, right? A lot of people just say it's unsustainable because they're not willing to give up the bullshit like alcohol, junk food, staying out late at night, maybe giving up to friends that aren't really benefiting them. Like those are the insecurities that people project onto you because they don't have the mental fortitude or like just the mindset to be able to achieve what you have achieved, which is a lean physique, because that shit takes fucking work, right? And you're holding up a mirror to other people because everybody would love to be lean. Like there's this, I'm not gonna say I don't understand, but I think it's very disingenuous when people say, oh, like not everybody wants to be lean, not everybody wants to look good. I really do think that's cap. I don't believe that for a second. I really do believe that if you gave everybody a button, like if you gave everybody in America a button and the button said, press this button and you'll be in the best shape of your life, you'll have the best physique of your life without any effort, without any work, everybody's pressing the button. No one is turning that button away. Nobody who's 30% body fat, 40% body fat, with their belly hanging over their belt, with a big ass back, is gonna give the button back and be like, no thanks, I'm good. I don't wanna look good. Nobody's doing that. Everybody would do it. So when people say not everybody wants to be lean, that's cap. It's very disingenuous. Now, can everybody be lean? No, because it takes a certain kind of mindset. It takes a certain kind of discipline. So not everybody can be lean. Everybody has a capability. Everybody has the ability to do it, but not everybody can do it, right? And when I say everybody, obviously we're excluding people with, disabilities who can't really do it, diseases and shit like that. Like when I say everybody, I'm obviously not talking about every single person, because there are circumstances where people really can't do it. So I'm not talking about those people, right? I'm talking about the people who are capable. But for the people who are capable, they would all love to look good. They just don't want to do the work. So when they say, oh, not everybody wants to be lean. It's a lie. Like it's really not true. So that's one of those insecurities too. I think if you want to classify it as an insecurity, where it's like, oh, not everybody wants to do it, like kind of just downplaying you, when in reality, everybody would love to be lean. They just don't want to do the work, right? So, what else we got here? This kind of goes with the insecurities, but the social friction, like when you're in social settings and there's food around and people kind of pressuring you to be like, oh, one bite's not gonna hurt, one slice of pizza's not gonna hurt. That's something you either, you have the choice whether you want to deal with that or not. You can kind of remove yourself from those situations, but like if you're at a family gathering or if you have friends that you really just want to hang around and stuff like that because you actually, they're good friends, but they don't have the same lifestyle as you, and there's food around that you might not want to eat, like they might kind of pressure you into it and shit like that. And it can be kind of challenging to navigate that, because on one hand they're your friends and they're your friends, right? Like you want to hang out with them, but at the same time it's like they're kind of pressuring you to do something that they know isn't what you want to do because you have goals and you have ambitions. So navigating that's going to be kind of tricky. Like for the most part, a lot of times once you want to get lean and once you want to change your physique, you're going to have to cut your friends off that keep pressuring you and keep trying to peer pressure you into navigating off your goals, because at the end of the day, that's not a friend, right? If your friend is pressuring you or trying to get you to do something that's not conducive to your goals, and they know that, like they know your goals and they still do it anyway, that's not a real friend. So it's probably best to just remove yourself from those situations. But anyway, my camera's about to die and I'm running out of space. So thank you guys for watching. If you learn anything, please like, comment, subscribe. I'm gonna keep putting out these videos. Thank you guys for the positive comments. Thank you guys for 1,300 subs. It's just actually crazy to me. But other than that, if you need help with your fitness and getting lean, building a physique that you are super proud of to look at in the mirror, link will be in the description below. Other than that, see you guys in the next one. Peace.